The World Series on Fox, brought to you by Dodge. You can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horns. Dodge. By MasterCard, there are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard. By State Farm, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. And by DHL, we move the world. On his way in from the bullpen after getting as warm as he can on a night like this, Curt Schilling acknowledging the fans sitting over near the Red Sox dugout. Little fist into the air and saying, I'm going to go get him. We'll wait and see. A look at the Cardinals lineup. And that's brought to you by Citibank. Edgar Renteria will lead it off at short. Larry Walker batting second and right. Albert Pujols sitting third. Scott Rowland is the cleanup man. Edmonds in center. Reggie Sanders in left field tonight. Womack at second. Matheny does the catching, and Marlon Anderson is the DH. The right-hander Curt Schilling, 37 years old, will turn 38 next month, and he makes his 15th career postseason start.
The bad ankle is his right ankle. That's the ankle off of which he pushes, and it shouldn't affect Schilling like it will affect some pitchers, because when you can't push off of that ankle, you have a tendency to get the ball up. But Schilling's a high ball pitcher anyway, with that splitter down in the dirt. A big game guy. He has been throughout his career and certainly earned his money. High fastballs and low splitters from Curt Schilling.
Moments ago, Curt Schilling was checking the footing between the mound and the home plate area, checking on the grass, not only in front of the mound but down toward the baselines, third base and first base. The Cardinals expect to challenge Schilling's fielding ability in this game much more than the Yankees did. That wasn't even a factor in Game 6 of the ALCS, to the surprise of some. Baseball fans, grab a cold, fresh Budweiser. It's game time. Tony La Russa saying our big guys won't do a lot of bunting, but guys like Renteria, Womack, Marlon Anderson, if the situation is there, they will try to drop one down. And because of that, with Renteria up, Bill Miller is pulled way in at third. Glad you're with us. Game 2, and it's on the outside corner, strike one. It's Renteria, Walker, and then Pujols. Edgar last night 2 out of 4 with an RBI. 1 ball, 1 strike. We paid some attention to the velocity from Schilling in that Game 6 start against the Yankees. Middle part of the game, it started to dip, and then when he needed a better fastball late, he still had 93, 94. With a 94-mile-an-hour fastball, he misses 2-1.
Misses high and just a bit outside. Yeah, the only run against Curt Schilling coming on a 3-1 fastball to Bernie Williams in the 7th inning.
Here's a 2-1 to Renteria, 2-2. Schilling making his 6th World Series start. 2-1 overall. Renteria stays up there. Really, last night for the Cardinals, they had their chances. Tim mentioned the 4 errors by the Boston Red Sox. They were also handed walks, 5 by the starter Wakefield, 1 late, an intentional pass. But it was the middle of the order, the big bats, the big money players, that did not get any hits for the Cardinals last night when they needed them. 2-2 pitch. Good adjustment by Renteria to stay up there. Renteria got on base 3 times last night. Walker was on 5 times. Pujols was hitless. Rowland was hitless. And Edmonds only had a single on a bunt. Here's a 2-2 to Renteria. Full count.
Good at bat by Renteria, forcing Schilling to show everything he has. Fastball, slider, and the splitter.
On 3-2, Renteria, another foul ball. Curt Schilling was originally with the Boston Red Sox, and he was signed by Ray Boone, the late Ray Boone. Signed back in 1986, 2 years with the Red Sox organization, then traded to Baltimore, and on to Houston, Philadelphia, Arizona, and now back with Boston. Another 3-2 pitch. And another foul ball that will end up out of play. So this will be at least a 10-pitch at bat for Renteria to start the night. Chris Myers telling us, and Terry Francona before Chris, that it is not necessarily a pitch count that they're worried about with Curt Schilling, but how the ankle feels and how his arm responds. Here's another 3-2. And Edgar Renteria is having an outstanding at bat. How will tonight start for St. Louis? Curt Schilling, it's going to take at least 12 pitches to get Renteria for the first out of the night. Schilling in the World Series with Philadelphia back in '93, and then made those 3 starts against the Yankees with Arizona in 2001. Another 3-2, and Renteria chops it to Cabrera. Low throw, dug out by Millar, 1 out. Take a look at the defense. Now Boston covers the field. Brought to you by State Farm. Ramirez, who had an adventure last night in left. Damon in center. Trot Nixon in right. Miller, Cabrera, Bellhorn, Millar. Veritek back behind the plate. Didn't start last night with Wakefield on the mound. And it's Schilling tonight in the middle of it. And a good play by Millar on the back end.
That was a 3-2 splitter. That ball out of the strike zone down to Renteria. You could tell by the way he swung at the ball. Not too often do you throw the leadoff batter a 3-2 splitter. You usually challenge him.
That's a fastball on the inside corner. Strike 1 to Walker. Had been 1 for his last 13 in the postseason. That was at the end of the NLCS, and then last night broke out. 4 out of 5. Reached base all 5 times he came to the plate. As that pitch misses inside, a ball and a strike. Pujols next. Walker hits it in the air to right. Nixon with out number 2. And that'll bring in Albert Pujols. 0 for 3 in game 1. Was hit by a pitch, was intentionally walked, and hitting .413 during this postseason. Last night was the highest scoring game 1 in World Series history. A total of 20 runs and an 11-9 victory for Boston.
Schilling, as in game 6 against the Yankees, very deliberate out on the mound.
Strike 1 on the outside corner to Pujols. The statistics that Pujols is putting together at the beginning of his career are staggering. His 4th season, he's gone at least 30 home runs, 100 runs scored, and 100 RBIs in each of his first 4 seasons. The first player in Major League Baseball history to do that. And he was the MVP of the National League Championship Series. And he carried the Cardinals on to victory over Houston. A 1-1. Pujols plugs the gap in left center field, and that ball will skip all the way to the wall. Albert Pujols with the double with 2 out here in the first inning.
Curt Schilling had retired. Edgar Renteria on a split finger fastball. Larry Walker on a splitter, and he tries to get Albert Pujols on a splitter. You talk about an investment in himself. 6 years ago, Albert Pujols signed with the St. Louis Cardinals for $10,000. 5.5 years later, he signed a 7-year contract for $100 million. Pretty good return on investment.
And one of the things he did was lose a lot of weight. Problem he battled and finally kept the weight off. And I guess it's easier to keep off the weight if you're constantly running around the bases. Which is what he's done from the first second he got to the big leagues. First pitch is strike to Scott Rowland. A great relationship between the man at the plate and the guy in the dugout for the Red Sox, Terry Francona, the Boston manager. Scott Rowland was a Rookie of the Year in '97 with the Phillies. That was Terry Francona's first year as a big league manager. That year, Rowland had 283, 21 home runs, 92 RBIs. You talk about a mutual admiration society. They have it for one another. Rowland thought the world of Francona, and Francona could not have more glowing things to say about the way Rowland plays the game. And then, as has been reported, when Francona was fired after being in Philadelphia for 3 seasons, Scott Rowland's parents were among the first to call Francona, wishing him luck and thanking him for all he did in Philadelphia. Three balls and a strike last night before the game. Francona went to the Cardinal clubhouse to see Rowland, and then during the pregame introductions crossed that line and went over and shook the hand of Scott Rowland in front of a packed house here at Fenway. Rowland could put St. Louis and Matt Morris on top here in the first. Trying to hold up, could not. Full count.
With first base open, even though it's the first inning, Schilling throws the splitter out of the strike zone, and Rowland commits.
Former teammates in Philadelphia hooking up. Curt Schilling, Scott Rowland. Rowland, a line drive laser to third, caught by Miller. Rowland could not have hit it any harder. It caught Miller over at third, and after a half, no score at Fenway. The World Series on Fox, brought to you by the new Chevrolets. 10 new cars and trucks in 20 months, an American revolution. By City Business, that's a card you can count on. And by IBM, making on-demand business a reality for companies around the world. Hit the idiot, win a prize. Idiot's a nice word around Fenway these days, and Matt Morris is on the mound for St. Louis, and he starts Damon with a fastball strike. Matt Morris, inconsistent all year, was still a 15-game winner. His 4th start of this postseason, he's 0-1. 1 ball, 1 strike on Damon. Free agent to be is Matt Morris, 30-year-old right-hander. Attended Seton Hall University as he misses outside. 2-1. How important is Johnny Damon to the Red Sox attack? The games that Boston has lost in this postseason. Total of 3 games, he's hit .077. In the 8 they've won, he's hit .326. He sets the table for the big bats in the middle of this Boston lineup. 3-1 pitch to Damon. Full count. to third. Rolen has to throw off balance. What a play. What a phenomenal throw by Rolen with his momentum carrying him toward his dugout to get the speedy Damon for out number 1.
Well, there are some times that third basemen do not have the luxury of planning and throwing, but Rolen showing how strong his arm can be while going the other way. Fine play by the Gold Glover at third for the Cardinals.
With 1 down, the batter is Cabrera. Orlando has got an 8-game hitting streak going. Hit in every game of the ALCS, and last night 1 for 4. Takes the ball. Three hops to Renteria. 2 up, 2 down. Take a look at the lineup for the Boston Red Sox. You know the first 2. It's brought to you by Citibank. Damon Cabrera. Now it's Manny Ramirez. Then it's the DH, David Ortiz, Jason Varitek in the number 5 spot, Millard first, Trot Nixon in right, Bill Miller at third, and Mark Bellhorn at second, batting ninth.
2 outs do not a pitcher's performance make, but 2 ground ball outs. Good early news for the Cardinals and Matt Morris.
That was a perfectly constructed sentence.
Thank you.
I'm so proud of that. With 2 out and nobody on, Ramirez over the outside corner, he taketh. Strike 1. Going old English on us for a second.
Going Dickensian.
2 ground ball outs. Ramirez 0-2. Matt Morris had by far his best postseason performance, and if that's the case, his best performance ever with a pressure on him. Game 5 of the division series back in 2001. It was on a Sunday night, and he was matched up against Curt Schilling, pitching for the Diamondbacks. In that game, it ended 2-1. Thanks to a hit by Tony Womack, who now plays for the Cardinals. Reggie Sanders homered off Morris in that game, who plays for the Cardinals now. Both guys in the lineup behind him. And Schilling beat him, giving up only a home run to J.D. Drew, who played in this postseason for the Atlanta Braves. Morris 8 innings, a run on 7 hits. Schilling 9 innings, a run on 6 hits. Here they hook up in game 2 of the 2004 World Series. 2-2 to Ramirez. Full count.
First 2 strikes on Manny Ramirez. A lot tougher than the 3rd strike. He is an outstanding 2-strike hitter.
A 2-out walk. Ortiz is coming up. Take a look at how St. Louis covers the field, and they can cover the field. It's brought to you by State Farm. Sanders, Edmonds, and Walker in the outfield with Rolen, Renteria, Womack, and Pujols. Matheny and Morris the battery. Here is David Ortiz, who has tied a postseason record with his 19 RBIs so far between the division series, the LCS, and his action last night with his 4 RBIs in game 1. Morris comes right after him with a 92-mile-an-hour fastball, strike 1. Matt Morris pitching on 3 days rest for the first time in his big league career. One ball, 1 strike.
Cardinal pitchers will try to crowd David Ortiz up and in. Ball he hit last night was a slider off Woody Williams that was down and in.
We haven't seen that good Matt Morris curveball yet, as he misses down and away. 2 balls and a strike.
He has a tough time throwing that curveball, Joe, from the stretch. A lot of guys with that much leg drive. This is, of course, is a fastball, but you need the leg drive when you're winding up to get on top of the curveball and make it go down.
Ortiz let it fly, and it's 2-2. For the most part, back in that 2001 season when Morris was a 22-game winner, was a fastball curveball pitcher. Now he's added a changeup. He doesn't throw as hard as he did. 2-2 pitch. And Ortiz just got a piece to stay up there.
Yeah, but that was a lazy curveball thrown from the stretch. The first curveball of the night thrown by Matt Morris.
Ortiz trying to start it with a bang again tonight. Still 2-2. Last night stepped up and cracked a 3-run first inning homer. The Red Sox, as Ortiz just cracked his bat, ended up with 4 runs in the first inning. At one point led 7-2. Then 7-7, 9-7, 9-9, and it ended thanks to a home run by Bellhorn. In the 8th inning, 11-9 Boston. How about the last handful of games for David Ortiz? Last 5 games this postseason, a .364 average, 2 game-ending hits. 3-2 with Varitek next. Ramirez will go from first. Back-to-back walks and a scoring opportunity for Boston here in the first inning. Matt Morris was originally told that Jason Marquis was going to pitch Game 2 of this World Series. Then Tony La Russa and Dave Duncan met about it, thought about it, and switched because of the postseason experience that Morris possessed coming into this series. So they moved him up. And if there is a Game 6 of this World Series, he would have another start here at Fenway Park. He's in a first inning jam now with 2 on and 2 out. Varitek grounds foul.
13 walks in last night's ball game, 8 by the Cardinals. Tony La Russa saying that the walks really killed the Redbirds last night.
Varitek with 14 RBIs in his last 17 games, going back into the regular season. The 0-1. Varitek went 0-2. And as you said with Ramirez, even for Morris, the first 2 strikes haven't been hard to find against these Red Sox hitters. But after getting out in front of Ramirez and Ortiz, he walked the 3 and 4 hitters. Now it's an 0-2 count on Varitek. Ball 1. Center field, well hit. Back is Edmonds on the run. Off the wall. 2 runs are going to score. Varitek is going to head to third. The throw there, too late. 2-0 Boston.
That looked like a changeup down and in to Jason Varitek. And Jason parking it about 410 feet away from home plate. Just missed a home run. Right next to the 420 sign. Varitek puts the Red Sox on the board.
Now Millard takes a pitch down and in. Three straight hitters with 2 strikes, and Morris lost all 3 of them. Runner at third, 2 down. Millard takes outside, 2-0. Varitek, when he made his slide into third, ripped his pants. The 2-0 on the outside corner, 2-1.
There might be other position players who would not need to change pants, but catchers do.
The Red Sox are 7-0 this postseason when they score first. And thanks to back-to-back walks and the 2-run triple by Varitek. It's 2-0 here in the first inning with a chance for more. 3-1 on Millar. Millar did not go, and it's first and third. 3 walks in the first inning from Matt Morris. And that'll bring Dave Duncan out of the dugout. If you combine the regular season and the postseason, Matt Morris on the road 6-7 with an ERA of just under 6. At home this season, 9-4.
Last night, the St. Louis Cardinal pitchers threw 189 pitches to the Boston Red Sox batters. 37 were fouled off, and the Red Sox swung through only 9. The point being that the Cardinals really don't have power pitchers that can overpower the Red Sox and strike them out in key situations.
Trot Nixon now stands in. First and third, 2 out. Nixon grounds to Roland. And the inning is over, but not before the Red Sox jump out in front thanks to a 2-run triple by Varitek. Jim Edmonds first up for St. Louis. Pops up the first pitch, left side, foul territory. Long run, Varitek, Miller, and they come together and drop it.
That's not the first time that's happened. That happened in the ALCS. That is Miller's ball, and we mentioned at the time that Varitek has such range behind home plate. You don't normally think of a catcher with range, but because he's over there, that's clearly Miller's ball. Bill has to call Varitek off right away, but it's tough to call him off when he's set up like that.
That should be the 5th error of this World Series for the Red Sox. As Jim Edmonds takes the pitch up and in.
It's almost a case for team errors. If it's an error, who do you give it to? Miller or Varitek?
I'll let you decide. Edmonds leading off this second inning.
Well, that play's a very difficult play for a catcher to make. The third baseman's coming in on the ball. Much easier for a third baseman in third base foul territory or a first baseman in first base foul territory to make that play.
They gave the error to Miller. Doesn't matter to Schilling as he gets the ground out to first. 1 away here in the second inning, and Reggie Sanders will be the batter. Sanders starting in left field tonight. Last night was the DH with So Taguchi. Starting in left. Sanders with 1 out. Chops it foul. Curt Schilling during the regular season won 21 games. He had an ERA of 3.26, which was good for his second in the American League. And was number 3 in strikeouts with 203. With 1 out, nobody on, Sanders waits for an 0-1 pitch. Down and away, 1 ball, 1 strike. we, I think, take for granted, Tim, that people know exactly what has happened with Curt Schilling at the end of the regular season and then into the postseason. In that first start against the Angels in the division series, as Sanders went, and he's in the hole 1-2. It's the sheath around the peroneal tendon in his right ankle. And that tendon was loose and flipping from one side of the ankle bone to the other. And that's what gave him the pain, that clicking. Here's a 1-2 pitch to Sanders, 2-2. The medical staff devised a way to try to keep that tendon in place as they try to fight against a possible rupture of that tendon. And they actually suture it out of place, but trying to keep it stable and trying to keep the pain to a minimum. That ankle is shot up with Marcaine, short-lasting anesthetic as well. So Schilling is doing what he can to drive off that right leg, that right ankle, as he brings home these 93, 94 mile-an-hour fastballs. He's 2-2 on Sanders.
Something like that with Reggie Sanders stepping out on him can't help that ankle. That tendon is more or less used for the balancing between the ankle and the foot, the right foot. Schilling, a real drop and drive pitcher, but again, should be hurt less with an injury like that because he's a high fastball pitcher anyway.
The 2-2, full count, and then Curt Schilling, who is nothing if not an outstanding promoter, using his abilities to make his case yet again for ALS research, writing that K and then ALS right above the area, in the area where he knows our Fox cameras will focus during the course of tonight's game. The strikeout ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease. Here he issues a one-out walk, and here is Curt Schilling talking about his options and what they did to that right ankle.
Given the fact that it was either this or not pitch, this was the choice. Basically what they did was and it didn't take long. They just went in and they sutured the skin down to the tissue on the bone between my two tendons, the dislocated tendon and the tendon that's in the normal place, to keep the dislocated tendon out of place so it wouldn't pop back in and out during the game.
Tony Womack now takes high, ball one. It was, I guess, in the category of a radical procedure. Something that hadn't been tried before, and by developing that, I guess, instant cure, short-term cure, they put him back on the mound. Runner going, and Sanders will end up at third base. He's going back to the bag and is confused after Womack gets the hit into right center field. I don't know if somebody deked him or not, but for some reason Sanders stopped running.
Well, usually if you're going to be decoyed around second base, it's going to be before you get there. I think Reggie may have thought that he missed second base or perhaps slipped over second base because he had rounded the bag, and for whatever reason he stopped.
Let's see if he missed it.
Yeah, I think he thought he missed it, and he may have. You could tell there, getting his hands up to keep Tony Womack from going to second base, so they didn't have a roadblock.
We've got a microphone in that bag.
And sometimes when you pick up the ball, I think he hit the bag. But sometimes when you pick up the ball, it messes up your timing and your pacing going around second base. The bag's on top of you before you know it. And that's what happened to Reggie Sanders then. So instead of having runners on at second and third, the Cardinals have runners on at first and second. Big difference.
Big difference with 1 out in the inning. The count's gone to 2-0 on Matheny. I don't know if it's definitive to listen to that replay with the microphone in the bag and know for sure whether that's his foot hitting the bag or hitting the dirt right next to the microphone.
Well, if he did touch the bag, it's on the other side, and no base runner will touch the bag on the other side. Try to touch that corner, and the corner pushes you off toward the next base.
Two balls and a strike on Matheny, who last night knocked home 2 runs with 2 sac flies. By falling into a big hole last night, Tony La Russa didn't have the opportunity to do what he did with Womack at the plate, and that is start runners, try to get action going on the bases. Down 2-0 here in the second. Sanders was running on the hit into right center by Womack, but either by missing the bag or by not picking up the ball, stopped at second. Now Sanders is stealing third, and Matheny lines into an inning-ending double play.
If there were no 1 out, it would have been a triple play.
So Miller going to the bag with Sanders running is there for the line drive, and it's 2-0 Boston after an inning and a half. Bill Miller, who caught the line drive at the front end of the inning-ending double play, will lead it off. And it's the left arm of Reggie Sanders that catches Bill Miller right in the jaw as he makes the tag on Sanders, who was running on the play. Sanders was going to third, Womack down to second. Matheny hit the line drive for the out. Double play, bottom of the second, 2-0 Boston. On the 2 out, 2-run triple by Veritek. Miller pops it up foul down the right side, out of play. 0-2. Miller, then Bellhorn, then Damon. To the right side. Womack can't get to it, and Miller is on with a leadoff hit. Bellhorn will walk to the plate. Bank of America, the official bank of Major League Baseball, donates $10,000 to the Intrepid Fallen Heroes Fund for every home run in the World Series. Last night's home runs by David Ortiz, Larry Walker, and Mark Bellhorn mean $30,000 for the families of military personnel who have given their lives in the current operations in defense of our country. Now with 1 on and nobody out, here's the guy who hit, in essence, the game-winning shot last night in the 8th, Mark Bellhorn. Ball 1. The home run, 1 of 2 Bellhorn hits last night. On the outside corner, Chris Myers.
Joe, Sox hitting coach Ron Jackson said Bellhorn's struggles turned around. The last 2 games in New York, he told Bellhorn when he was swinging, he wasn't getting his hands back first before swinging forward. Once he did that, he got the power, he put in the extra time, made a difference in his swing, and Bellhorn now is getting his hands back before lunging forward. Ron Jackson said now he doesn't have to say anything to Bellhorn.
Bellhorn doesn't say much back. Francona first got to the Red Sox, he thought, why did I make Bellhorn mad? He doesn't talk to me. He doesn't talk to many people. The quiet second baseman takes a pitch up and away, 2-2. Bell plus Horn, Bellhorn equals home run. Full count now on Bellhorn. Damon next, and Matt Morris. The curveball is so vital to the success for Morris, and he has not thrown a good one yet.
I don't think you send Miller here. Bellhorn swings through too many pitches.
Double play ball to second. Womack flips. Renteria in the middle. 2 out. You don't start the runner, Tim, and that's why you get the double play.
That's what happened.
4-6-3.
The Red Sox don't do this a lot. They don't start runners on 3-2 counts. They don't hit and run a lot. They've sacrificed only 12 times. They sit back and hammer.
And they can do it with the best of them.
That is their offense. Sit back and wail away.
A strike is into Johnny Damon, who's rounded out to third on a very good play by Roland. His first time up. 1 ball, 1 strike. Cardinals in the third will have Anderson, the DH, then Renteria, and Larry Walker. On the outside corner, strike 2 to Damon. Damon's tied up. He strikes out. First strikeout for Morris tonight. Third inning now. Fenway Park, 2-0 Red Sox. Kurt Schilling goes to work. Third inning, and the first pitch with Anderson showing bunt. Pulling Miller in at third is a strike. That's what Marlin has done this postseason. Last night took over for the injured Womack. He was hit on the collarbone on a bad hop and went 1 for 2. That's inside, a ball and a strike. To the amazement of Tony La Russa, the head of the grounds crew here with the Red Sox came in to apologize to the Cardinals because of the bad hop. He came in and apologized to Tony La Russa, and La Russa said, I've never had somebody from the grounds crew apologize to me for a bad hop that cost my team. He said, if I see Womack, I'm going to say it to him because I take that stuff personally.
Classy move.
Womack able to answer the bell tonight as Anderson takes high 2-2. Schilling has yet to strike out a hitter. Cardinals have hit some balls hard tonight. 2-0 Boston, third inning, and Anderson is jammed. He pops it up. It's Millar from his first base position, 1 out. Brad Mills is the bench coach for the Boston Red Sox, and he had this to say to Orlando Cabrera after that base running play in the second.
Oh, did you deke him at second, or did he miss the bag?
Well, when I dig it, he missed the bat.
Oh, I see. Oh, okay.
Yeah, but the decoy didn't work. Whenever a runner looks back at the hitter, he picks up the ball. The problem with Reggie Sanders.
As Renteria grounds to short, 2 out.
Was when he picked up the ball, he lost second base, stepped over the bag, and had to retreat. And Womack had to go back to first. So he picks up the ball, now picks up the ball in center field, steps over the bag, has to retreat, and tells Womack, whoa, whoa, Tony, go back, and he did.
And the last couple of replays that we've seen, I think, clearly shows that Reggie Sanders missed the bag entirely, and that sound that we had earlier was his foot hitting the dirt near that microphone, not the base. As Larry Walker fouls away strike number 1. Walker flying to right his first time up. Schilling looks for his first 1-2-3 inning. That's foul. Counts 0-2. first strikeout. Bottom of the third inning, game 2. Red Sox bat. They lead 2-0. Matt Morris will deal with Cabrera, Ramirez, and Ortiz, the 2, 3, and 4 hitters for the Red Sox here in the third inning. After the first out, I have a chance to play an interview we just did with Tony La Russa. 2-0 Boston, and the first pitch is inside for ball 1 to Orlando Cabrera, who grounded out to short his first time up. Runs coming in the first on 2 out walks to Ramirez and Ortiz, followed by a 2-run triple by Veritek. A 2-0 from Morris. Fastball, ground ball, foul. Down the third baseline. 2-1.
Yes, skipping foul the last 5 feet or so. Orlando Cabrera wearing a famous number in baseball, usually a number reserved for sluggers. Henry Aaron wore number 44, Reggie Jackson number 44, Willie McCovey.
The 2-1, 3-1. Took over for a guy that wore number 5, Nomar Garciaparra. Here's a 3-1. Out in front of that pitch, and that's fouled out of play. Full count. There was a mist that was blowing around Boston all afternoon and into the early evening. But as we started this game just after 8 o'clock, the rain has held off. Hop comes up for Roland. 1 out. And our quick chat with Tony La Russa moments ago. Tony La Russa, as this game is in the third inning, a word about Matt Morris and the curveball. We haven't seen that curveball too much so far tonight.
Well, I mean, it'll come, but he's had, I've been impressed with his stuff. Made an 0-2 mistake and walked a couple guys early. But I like the way he's throwing, and he'll feature. I mean, little by little, you'll see it all.
How about the swings that your hitters have had against Schilling tonight, and the base running of Sanders missing second base in the second?
Well, I mean, I think we're taking great at bats. We had 2 great chances. The first 2, Scotty's ball. We go about it that way. Sooner or later, we'll break through if Matt will hold him down.
Thank you. With 1 out, a strike over the outside corner, and it's quickly 0-2 on Manny Ramirez.
The one thing you do from a catcher's standpoint, if a pitcher doesn't have his curveball in the early innings, you realize that if he's going to last through the game, 6, 7 innings, you've got to bring that curveball along somehow. You call it or call for it in situations that aren't dangerous, like this one, 0-2, or you waste it. You bring it along.
That's down the right field line, foul. And I would imagine if we talked about feel on a cold night last night for somebody like Wakefield with a knuckleball, there's a lot of feel that's involved with a curveball. And you can see it is a cold night here at Fenway. The 0-2. That one misses for ball 1.
That was a good curveball because it was out of the strike zone. Try to get a hitter to expand the strike zone. You can see Matheny heading up outside. Curveball in the dirt.
One ball, 2 strikes. Ramirez walked and scored his first time, and he is the second strikeout victim from Morris. We recognize the excellent season of managing the Cardinals by Tony La Russa, brought to you by Honda Pilot. La Russa piloted the Cardinals to 105 regular season wins, the most of any team in his long career as a manager, and it was the second best season win total in Cardinal franchise history. The 2 out here in the third inning. Here's Ortiz. And there's a fly ball down the left left field line, slicing foul, strike one.
That's the thing about David Ortiz. He can spread his power to any part of the ballpark. Fenway Park, asymmetrical. Not anywhere like Busch Stadium in St. Louis, where the Cardinals and Red Sox will be playing on Tuesday night.
1 ball, 1 strike.
He won the divisional championship game against the Anaheim Angels by hitting a home run to left field. He beat the Yankees with a home run to right field.
Hard hit to Pujols. He will lead it off for St. Louis in the 4th. Going there. Still 2-0. Red Sox on top here in game 2. The World Series on Fox is brought to you by Bud Light. Fresh, smooth, real. It's all here. We move into the 4th inning. Game 2 of this World Series, and it's Pujols, Rolen, and Edmonds. 3 guys that have to get it going if the Cardinals are going to win this World Series against the Red Sox pitching. Curt Schilling has allowed no runs on 2 hits, has 1 strikeout, 1 walk. Pujols has 1 of the 2 hits, a 2-out double in the 1st. A 1-0. 2-0. We had a chance to visit with Terry Francona during the break, and we'll give you that brief talk when we get a chance here in the top of the 4th. Pujols will look to hammer a pitch on 2-0. Instead, he's taking all the way, and it's 2-1. The 3, 4, and 5 hitters combined in the first 2 rounds of this postseason, carrying this Cardinal offense. 29 RBIs among that trio, 371 average. Last night, 1 for 12, no RBIs, and that's down into the corner. Albert Pujols already has 1 double, and he will cruise into second base with his 2nd of the night. And for the first time tonight, the Cardinals put their leadoff man on.
51 doubles on the regular season and 2 in a row for Pujols. What a talent.
Here's Scott Rolen. He hit a laser over to 3rd, caught by Bill Miller to end the top of the 1st. Then the Red Sox went to work with 2 out walks to Ramirez and Ortiz and a triple to drive them both home by Varitek. Strike 1 inside corner.
Not even a thought by Scott Rolen to advance the runner to 3rd and give himself up. As he advances Pujols, he wants to advance him to home plate. Driving in 124 runs on the regular season. He's an RBI man. They don't advance runners.
And now Varitek's going to go out and talk. Dave Wallace is the pitching coach with the Boston Red Sox.
Players refer to that, by the way, as glove ease. Whenever a man's on second base and a pitcher puts his glove over his mouth, that's glove ease. That's the language of a pitcher to a catcher with a runner on at 2nd.
What did he say?
Don't know.
And now Schilling steps off, so he is concerned with the runner out at 2nd, and there is glove ease.
Glove ease.
Here's an 0-1 pitch, Rolen. 1 ball, 1 strike. On deck is Edmonds. Rolen fouls it straight back, strike 2. Curt Schilling in his career 5-9 against St. Louis with an ERA of 4.5. And with that right ankle and that dislocated tendon, trying to beat him here on a cold October night. Trying to help his Red Sox go up 2-0. Has Rolen set up. And Rolen sticks the bat out into right field. Nixon coming on. Nice catch. Tagging and going to third with good base running is Albert Pujols. 1 out.
The reason that it's good base running is Pujols doesn't know whether this ball's going to drop or not. But because Nixon hits the grass, Pujols has a chance to tag and go to third base. Had Trott maintained his footing, perhaps Pujols doesn't tag. Good base running. You're right, Joe.
Cardinals have a couple of guys that aren't in the category of fast, but are extremely smart base runners. Pujols is one and Rolen is the other.
I think Scott Rolen's the best base runner in the National League. Foot speed for foot speed. See, when Nixon goes to the turf, then Pujols had an idea about tagging, and now he takes that couple extra strides back and makes it to third without a play.
So that makes the RBI chance easier for Edmonds, who gets out of the way of ball one inside. Edmonds has 9 RBIs this postseason. 2 very big ones in the NLCS, winning Game 6 with an extra inning home run off Dan Maselli. That's on the inside corner, a ball and a strike. Cardinals trying to dig in to the 2-zip Boston lead here in the 4th. Strike 2.
Good splitter to Jim Edmonds. That's the thing about Schilling. With a runner on at third and less than 2 outs, he can get the strikeout.
He has 1 tonight.
203 during the regular season.
2-2.
So he went inside with the fastball, away with the splitter, inside with the fastball. Probably go back out there with the splitter.
Runner at third, 1 out. Edmonds strikes out. 2 down.
That's a terrific job by Baratek and Schilling, setting up Edmonds inside with a fastball, back inside. The 1-1 pitch, a splitter. 1-2, up and in, and the splitter low and away. Boy, that is a study in how to pitch.
Now with Pujols at third, 2 out, here's Reggie Sanders, who walked his first time. That's down into the corner, foul. Sanders with only 1 RBI this entire postseason, and that came a home run in the division series. Game 4 at Dodger Stadium. Pujols led off the inning with a double. Rolen flied out to right. Edmonds struck out. Sanders grounds to third. Miller can't make a play, and it's 2-1. The ball came up. Miller did all he could. He stayed in front of it, but couldn't chase it down and make a play. It's 2-1 here in the 4th inning.
will probably be an error on Bill Miller. But that in-between hop, it's so important for infielders to read the hop early. And when Bill Miller laid back right there, ball comes up on him, hits the heel of the glove, and he cannot recover in time. So the Cardinals are not only on the board, but they have speed on at first in Reggie Sanders.
And Sanders draws a throw. It is an error on Miller. And it is the second error of the night for the Red Sox. And already 6 in this World Series in less than a game and a half. Tying run at first, 2 out. Womack already has a hit tonight. And this one right at the bag. Cabrera's there, tags it. The Cardinals are on the board. Leadoff double by Pujols. It's 2-1 into the bottom of the 4th. Matt Morris has allowed 2 runs on 2 hits. One of the hits, the 2-run triple by Varitek. It's 2-1, Boston out in front, bottom of the 4th inning, and here is Varitek. Will be followed by Millar and then Trot Nixon. Matt Morris, when he was at Seton Hall, pitched in the Cape Cod League for Hyannis. And his catcher was Jason Varitek. As the pitch misses low and away, 2-0 with the mist starting up again here at Fenway Park. A 2-0 fastball right down the middle, 2-1. Varitek leading off. Takes a strike, 2-2.
So he missed with the fastball, missed with the curve, and then threw the fastball strike, and that was the best curve he's thrown all night. Another one.
Womack, a wide throw, but out. Here is Matt Morris telling us about that curve ball, how big of a weapon it is for him.
My curveball is my weapon, so the longer I can quote-unquote save it, probably the better off I am. But it's a catch-22 because then I don't have the good feel of it. So if I can throw it early a couple times in some counts where you know, I'm not going to get hurt and get a good feel of it, and then you know, later in the game when I need it in a situation, hopefully it's there.
First pitch is strike on the outside corner to Millar.
Goodwin to get to 2 strikes on Varitek, and then he got Jason out on a good curveball. Here's the 2-2 curve. 2 consecutive good curveballs to Jason Varitek.
Millar is grazed by the pitch, and he's on with 1 out here in the 4th inning.
Now, Matt, going back to the curveball, and this ball stays inside and hits Kevin Millar right on the left elbow.
That'll bring in Trot Nixon, 1-on-1 out. Nixon, his first time up, had 2 runners on and grounded out to third. He is only 8 out of 41 this entire postseason with a home run and 5 RBIs. Started the season with a herniated disc in his back, had a terrible quad injury. Finished the season hot in September for the Red Sox. He takes a strike. Matt Morris saying the last time I pitched on short rest was a wiffle ball game when I was 10. Doing it for the first time in his big league career, and he's down by a run in the 4th inning, 1-on-1 out for Boston. Strike 2. Cardinals in the 5th inning will have Matheny, Anderson, and Renteria. Blown by the bat of Nixon, 2 out. Strikeout number 3 for Matt Morris tonight. You can play Hit the Pros, presented by the all-new GMC Canyon, and face real pitches from today's best hurlers. Log on to foxsports.com on MSN. Keyword games. GMC, we are professional grade. 2 out in the inning, and here comes Bill Miller. A single his first time up, but that's no big shot. Miller, a career .333 hitter here at Fenway Park. Ball 1 inside.
Just checking the on-deck circle for the Boston Red Sox. If there's a foul ball hit over in that area, it's like going through a minefield. I think they have 10 different items: weights, rosin, pine tar, weighted bats, lead bats, iron poles. It's a lot of stuff.
There's a shot put over there, a discus, a javelin. Here's a 1-1 to Miller. That's into right field. Larry Walker will try to cut it off. Gets to it, back toward the infield, and Womack will flip it to the plate with runners at second and third. That little effort at the end by Larry Walker just saved a run. It wasn't clean, but he kept it from rattling around in that corner.
Yeah, it was almost mishandled. That is a very tough wall. Actually, it hits off his left knee, it appeared. No, the right knee. And then it hits the wall. Larry recovers in time. Millar is not a fast runner. If you do have any kind of chance, you would send him with 2 outs. But Dale Swain, the third base coach, held him up.
And now it's Bellhorn. A hitting hero last night for the Red Sox. Second and third, and a ball in the dirt. We talked last night about this catcher, Mike Matheny, and how he blocks pitches in the dirt. And there is the ultimate respect for the teammates for Matheny and for the teammates for Veritek, and a lot of respect between the two catchers. Here's a 1-0. Bellhorn hits it to deep center field. Back is Edmonds. It's over his head. 2 more runs. Another big hit for Bellhorn. And it's 4-1 Boston in the 4th.
Mark Bellhorn booed early in the American League Championship Series. The press was asking Terry Francona why he didn't get him out of there, play Pokey Reese. 4 consecutive games with big hits. 3 home runs and now a double.
One of the headlines in the Herald today, mark of a winner. How the fortunes and the perception of Bellhorn have changed. As Damon almost walked into that pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike. A hit batsman in the inning and back-to-back 2-out doubles. Miller set it up and Bellhorn cashed in. Schilling now has his biggest lead of the night. Strike 2 on Damon. Damon 2 for 8 in this World Series, 0 for 2 tonight. Still 1-2. Get the chance, whether it's here in the 4th inning or in the 5th. I think it's important to talk about the personality more of this Boston Red Sox team. What they were able to overcome in the series against the Yankees. And what they're fighting to try to do in this World Series as Damon takes outside 2-2. you think about being down 3-0 to the Yankees, at one point being literally 3 outs away from being swept. And you look at this group of Red Sox players and the way they go about their business, the way they play the game. And after getting that victory in Game 4, they rode that momentum, won an extra innings in Game 5, went to New York and won back-to-back games to get here to the World Series. The 2-2 pitch. Ground ball to second. Inning is over. It's now 4-1. And it's Mark Bellhorn with another big hit for Boston. First pitch swinging is Matheny, and he has a base hit into left field to start the 5th inning. Last inning, a chance to visit with Terry Francona. Here's what he had to say out of the Red Sox dugout. Well, Terry Francona, the easy question is, as we are in the 4th inning, what's the word on Schilling and how he's feeling to this point?
Well, if you guys know Schill at all, the day he pitches, he's ornery as heck. You don't talk to him, but that's good news. If there was a problem, we'd know from the medical staff. Right now, as far as we're concerned, he's just competing. If there's something that comes up during the game, you know, we keep an eye on him. But right now, he's just competing, and I don't think there's anything physical that's going to hold him back right now.
So let's ask the other question. Where does pitch count rank as far as how you will judge how deep Schilling goes into this game?
You know what? I think that's probably the least of our worries. I mean, his arm feels great. He's on his regular rest. That's not an issue. And as far as rest goes, he can rest all winter as far as, you know, his arm goes. We'll obviously keep an eye on him. But I think right now the biggest thing is just competing and what the score is and things like that.
Terry, thanks for the time. Okay, guys. 67 is the pitch count to this point. And that first delivery to Anderson was hammered foul.
One of the big reasons that Curt Schilling signed with the Red Sox, that the Red Sox had hired Terry Francona as the manager. Played for him and pitched for him in Philadelphia. And loves the guy.
1 ball, 1 strike on Marlon Anderson. Popped out his first time up. They're just trying to stay loose and warm out of that Red Sox bullpen. Check on Matheny, who, if he goes anywhere, would be part of the hit and run. But he is not a guy that's going to try and swipe a base.
Joe, one of the reasons that I believe that pitch count's overrated is pitchers feel differently. Schilling wants to talk to Veritek. Pitchers feel differently from a strength standpoint from start to start. Sometimes their limit could be 90 pitches. Other times it could be 105 pitches. Other times they're strong as bulls and it could be 120 pitches. But it seems like baseball over the last 10 years has gotten itself into a position where they've standardized pitch count. Well, if he's at 100 pitches, he can't pitch. I mean, a guy like Pedro Martinez, I think he's proven time and time again this year that 100 pitches may be too much. But for a guy like Schilling, a bull of a man, I mean, his pitch count varies from 90 to, as Terry told us before the game, 125 perhaps.
1 ball, 1 strike is the count on Marlon Anderson. 1 on, nobody out, and Anderson fouls at strike 2. Wind whipping around here at Fenway Park. It's picked up a little bit over the last inning. The mist has stopped. And the count 1 ball, 2 strikes on Anderson. Tony La Russa telling us before the game, he told his team, look, the wind's blowing in here at Fenway Park. You got to make your pitches. Don't give up walks. Take advantage of the elements against this Boston lineup. Anderson strikes out. 3 strikeouts for Schilling. And 1 out here in the 5th. Well, 2 walks in the first inning did in Morris. They were followed by the 2-run triple by Veritek, a hit batsman. Led to trouble for Morris in the 4th.
Yeah, that's the thing. A good fastball from Schilling. Usually guys who walk to first run home.
Schilling has walked 1 tonight. He didn't walk anybody in that Game 6 start at Yankee Stadium. And for the season, this power pitcher, Schilling, walked a total of 35 hitters.
32 starts, 35 walks.
1 on, 1 out, back to the top of the order. Here's Renteria. Strike 1 on the inside corner. Cardinals telling us before the game, if they get the opportunity, they will drop down bunts to test Schilling. Renteria was one of the guys listed, but Bill Miller has pulled way in over at third. So if nothing else, the ankle of Schilling and his health and the question marks around his fielding abilities have pulled Miller out of a typical third base position, trying to guard against Renteria and others dropping down a bunt. 1 on, 1 out here in the 5th. To the shortstop, Cabrera. A flip. A double play. And the inning is over. Halfway through Game 2. Red Sox will bat. Cabrera, Ramirez, Ortiz coming up. 4-1 Boston. Curt Schilling is through 5 innings as he takes a seat in that dugout, trying to warm up and at the same time keep that right ankle loose. Had some issues in the top of this 5th. Second to last pitch, he looked like he came up a little more gimpy than he was earlier. Bullpen is quiet for the Red Sox, and Morris is back to work, bottom of the 5th, and pitch 1 is a ball. Up and away to Cabrera. Two 2-0. The Red Sox thrilling these fans all season. Up 1 game to none and leading in Game 2. 4-1 as the pitch is inside. 3-0 on Cabrera, who's 0 for 2. Pair of ground outs. He'll take, and it's 3-1. Cal Eldred starting to get loose, and a leadoff walk. His second to last pitch, the top of the 5th inning. After letting it go, comes up with a little limp, then down into that crouched position, trying to keep that right ankle as loose as he can, and then gimping off the mound as he induced the double play ground ball off the bat of Renteria. Here comes Dave Duncan out to talk. We've seen that blood in the right sock all night. We saw it in Game 6 at Yankee Stadium. He has bled exactly into the shape of the state of Oklahoma, which is interesting. And that right ankle is the focus of attention for all of New England. And this is about as cold as it's going to get without snow falling. There was some talk of some snow flurries maybe later on in the night. Schilling, while he's been hit a little harder tonight than he was at any point in that Game 6 start at Yankee Stadium, has done his job. You look at his pitch total of 73. He's allowed only 4 hits. And so far, 1 run. An unearned run that scored on an error by Miller at third. Runner at first, nobody out. Manny Ramirez takes ball 1.
Meanwhile, the walk in front of Manny Ramirez and David Ortiz, just inviting the Red Sox to score more runs.
Ramirez dropped the bat with that pitch inside, trying to avoid getting hit. The count's 2-0.
Ramirez looking away. That looked like a backup slider. Sometimes a hitter like Ramirez, a good hitter like Ramirez, sees the slider spin. He thinks it's going to be away. It stays inside and surprises him.
Here's a 2-0. Ramirez hits it in the air to right to Walker. 1 on, 1 out. Let's check in with Chris Myers.
Joe, I'm up in the Green Monster among the people with Tom Hanks.
How you doing, Chris?
All right, I'm okay. And Jimmy Fallon, who's actually doing a movie about the Red Sox, right?
Yeah, we were here for like 3 weeks almost. It was really great. I had a good time.
It's a Farley Brothers movie called Fever Pitch.
Yeah,
who else?
It's me and Drew Barrymore and the Farley Brothers. It's about a guy who loves the Red Sox, a fanatic, and he has to choose between Drew and the Red Sox.
And what about the Red Sox so far? And cheering up here among the people. It's a great view.
We're like rewriting the ending as this is all happening, because this never happens. As Red Sox fans all know, they have the toughest, postseason. This is like amazing and so great to be here right now.
And great work on SNL, moving on to a movie career. And speaking of movies, Tom, I know there's no crying in baseball, but there is a lot of excitement. You came in just for this. Are you a Red Sox fan or a Dodger fan?
Well, I grew up in Oakland and Cleveland. I'm an American League boy, born and bred. And I'm an American, and when the Boston Red Sox are finally in the World Series, there's nothing wrong with the city of St. Louis. They are lovely people, and they have lovely colors on their baseball uniforms. But come on, I want Billy Buckner to have a good night's sleep, for crying out loud.
You're the voice of what's that? Pete Macheska's telling me, my producer. Polar Express, right? You do that?
I think the Warner Brothers is leaving no stone unturned. We're trying to peel people away from that Jimmy Fallon Alfie movie that is going to be sweeping the country. By the way, we're taking a Jimmy Fallon coat fund collection tonight, so it's going to die up here.
It looks like he's chilly. Thanks for your time, and have a coat. Real quick, give us your best Boston accent. Describe what's going on. Throw it back to Joe Buck, who you got to meet in the hotel.
Joe Buck, saw him at the hotel and say, hopefully the Red Sox hit one over that monster. You're wicked piss up here. Let's have a great time. Boston rocks.
Thanks, guys.
All right, Chris, thank you. And thanks to Jimmy Fallon and Tom Hanks. And we just bid farewell to Matt Morris here in the 5th inning. The leadoff walk and the fly ball to right. And now with David Ortiz coming up, it's the right-hander Cal Eldred taking over, while Curt Schilling is hoping for more runs of support in that dugout. It's already 4-1 Boston on top here in game 2, and I think we touched on this last night. If you think about the legends, the sports legends in this city, who they continue to celebrate, and you think about the reception for Johnny Pesky here last night before the game, and Yaz and Fisk, and the reception that was here, the All-Star game for Ted Williams, and the way they hold their sports heroes up. Where will Curt Schilling rank doing what he did at Yankee Stadium in game 6? Coming back, it looked like his postseason was over after that game 1 start. They find a way to get him back on the mound. He pitches brilliantly in game 6, gets into game 7, and now tonight has his Red Sox out in front trying to take a 2-0 lead in the World Series.
Well, Curt Schilling may do in 1 year what other sports heroes in this city it's taken them 15 or 16 years to accomplish.
Ortiz with 1 on, 1 out. David Ortiz tonight has walked and scored and grounded out. Ball 1 up and in.
Bobby Orr, Bill Russell, John Havlicek, Bob Cousy. The names go on and on and on.
Larry Bird was pretty good up here.
Not bad.
Here comes a 1-0 pitch. Ortiz takes it on the inside corner. 1 ball, 1 strike. Good pitch from Eldred. Cal Eldred relieved last night. Got 1 out. This one is hit high and deep to right. If it's fair, it's gone. It is foul. And David Ortiz arguing with both the right field umpire Eddie Montague and Brian Gorman, the first base umpire, saying that ball hooked around the pole. So are the fans down the right field line. And now the umpires are going to get together and talk about it.
Ortiz clearly thought it was a fair ball. Home plate umpire Dale Scott also had a view. The three guys that had the best shot, Dale Scott, the home plate umpire, Brian Gorman, the first base umpire, and right field umpire Ed Montague. He's the crew chief.
And Ed Montague will tell Terry Francona. And by the way, Francona is down in the dugout on the first base side. He is just going on the reaction by David Ortiz. It will stay a foul ball, and it certainly looked on that replay like it was a foul ball, unless we're getting a skewed angle as we look. The only thing Ortiz could be claiming is what you talked about last night, hitting it over the foul pole and then it hooking. But from the angle that we have, it's tough to see if that ball went over the pole and then dive down to the right, which is what Ortiz is trying to argue. The ball was called foul and it stays foul. The count's 1-2. 2-2 now. A leadoff walk. Ramirez flying to right. And now Ortiz flies to Walker for out number 2. Just after 10 o'clock here in the East, we're at Fenway Park, game 2 of this World Series, with the Red Sox up 1-0 and leading tonight behind Schilling, doing it again 4-1. This postseason, when the Red Sox score first, they're 7-0. And Veritek is the reason the Red Sox scored first with a 2-out, 2-run triple back in the first after back-to-back walks to Ramirez and Ortiz. Eldred hits Veritek.
Eldred coming inside a couple of times to David Ortiz. Balls that were strikes. That cutter looked like it cut in and hit Veritek on the right elbow. He's got that elbow pad that makes the sound of being hit, but still grimacing.
2 on with 2 out for Millar. Ball 1 high. Morris ends up going 4 in the 3rd innings. He's responsible for the runner at second, Cabrera. He's allowed so far 4 runs on 4 hits. There were 4 walks, 3 strikeouts, and he hit about it. Eldred has now hit 1 as he falls behind Millar 2-0. This series will shift to St. Louis after tonight. It's in the 70s in St. Louis today. Cold and misty today here in Boston. A chance for Millar. A 2-0 pitch is in for strike 1.
Sometimes a hitter, by his very stance, will tell you how to pitch him. Generally speaking, if a hitter has an open stance, like Millar does, foot toward third, you don't pitch him inside, particularly when you're behind in the count.
Throw down to second, and Cabrera gets back. It's 2-2 on Millar.
Do that open stance with the left foot toward third base. Generally speaking, a hitter with that type stance, you don't want to come inside to. Particularly in this ballpark, Millar, a very strong hitter, hitting about 90 points higher in Fenway.
Full count now, and that will give Cabrera at second and Veritek at first a head start. Runners go, and strike three ends the fifth. Eldred comes out of the bullpen, does his job, and the 2, 3, and 4 hitters are coming up for St. Louis. 6th inning. 4-1 Boston. The World Series on Fox brought to you by Bank of America. Higher standards. By Cialis. Ask your doctor if a free sample of Cialis is right for you. And by Honda, the 4-wheel drive 255 horsepower Pilot built by Honda. 6th inning now, and a chance for St. Louis with their big bats coming up. Walker, Pujols, and Rolen. If anybody gets on, Edmonds. Walker 0 for 2 tonight, 4 hits in game 1. Schilling back to work. And a strike on the inside corner, to the surprise of Larry Walker. Our Budweiser fantasy player, game 1, Larry Walker, is tonight. Log on to foxsports.com, on MSN, keyword fantasy baseball. Tonight's game brought to you by Budweiser. Grab a cold, fresh Budweiser. It's game time. That's outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Walker was dealt to the Cardinals after the quote-unquote July 31st trading deadline. He had to approve the trade. And one of the interesting quirks for Larry Walker, he has to do everything in threes. Schilling would like to oblige by giving him 3 strikes, as the count's 2-2 now.
Fastball inside, fastball away, fastball inside, fastball away.
3 strikes for number 33, 1 out. 4 strikeouts for Schilling.
After 4 fastballs, the splitter gets Larry Walker.
When we sat there with Al Leiter in game 6 of the ALCS, he talked about the reputation of Curt Schilling being the most prepared starting pitcher in today's game, with all the charts, video work he does, keeping a notebook on hitters. Pujols is 2 for 2 with a pair of doubles. He scored the only run of the night for St. Louis, and the count's 2-0. On the outside corner, 2-1. Schilling has not been as dominant as game 6, the ALCS tonight, but in the end as effective with a 3-run lead. That's on the outside corner, 2-2. And now Pujols looks back at Dale Scott, the home plate umpire.
Yeah, Larry Walker thought the fastballs were inside, and Pujols thought that last fastball was away, off the plate.
Pujols pops it into right center field, slicing to Nixon. 2 out. With the bases empty, Rolen will be the hitter. Part of the cast of the hit series That 70s Show is here at Fenway tonight, and all new episodes begin Wednesday, November 3rd at 8 Eastern and Pacific on Fox. With 2 out and nobody on, here's Rolen, who's 0 for 2. Rolen is lined out, flied out, strike 1.
Talked about all the Celtic stars in this great city. There's Bob Kraft, the owner of the New England Patriots, who won again today.
They beat the Jets 20 in a row. Oh, and 2 on Rolen. hits it down the left field line. Foul. 21 victories in a row for the New England Patriots. They beat the Jets today by 6. 13-7. So 21 straight. And can they go the entire season undefeated? An amazing run put together, led by Bob Kraft and Bill Belichick. And of course Tom Brady. Here's an 0-2. Ball 1. We talk about clutch postseason performers. About the right foot of Adam Vinatieri. If the Super Bowl's on the line, who else do you want lining up a kick? Here is a 1-2 pitch rolling. Left side for Miller, and he kicks another. That should be his second error of the night.
And the third of the game for the Red Sox after committing 4 last night. Really no excuse right there. Bill Miller going down. The ball came up a little bit, hit the heel of the glove. Hand comes down, nothing there.
I don't think there'll be any apologies coming from Dave Mellor, the head of the grounds crew here at Fenway Park, like he had for La Russa after the bad hop caught Womack in the left collarbone area last night, forcing him to leave the game. Womack is still able to play in the lineup tonight. And here comes Dave Wallace, the pitching coach for the Red Sox, out to talk to Schilling. We have a little comparison with New England and New York. Red Sox defeat the Yankees in the ALCS 4-3. Only team in Major League history to win the series after trailing 3-0, and then 21 in a row as the Patriots defeat the Jets 13-7. And the Jets have been off to their fantastic start. So back to the dugout is Wallace. Getting loose is Alan Embry, the left-hander. And here is Jim Edmonds. An error has kept this 6th inning for St. Louis alive. Edmonds takes the ball high. Edmonds popped 42 home runs during the regular season. Good for 5th best in the National League. He has 3 this postseason.
Jim Edmonds has not been guessing right with Curt Schilling all night. Grounding to first weekly and then striking out. You can see how much he was out in front of that breaking ball, but he does have the count in his favor right now.
Now it's 3-0. I had said 2 errors on Miller, but 2 errors on balls that were in fair territory. Forgot about the one in foul territory. So 3 errors tonight for Bill Miller, and that ties for the most errors in a World Series game. The other one did not cost the Red Sox. Edmonds thought he had drawn a walk. It's 3-1. All 3 belong to Miller. 9 errors now in the postseason for the Red Sox. Edmonds still at the plate with a 3-1 count. Sanders on deck. And Edmonds grounds to second. Bellhorn can't make the play. This is unbelievable. The defense atrocious for the Red Sox in the first 2 games of this World Series. And that error will bring the tying run to the plate.
It's a remarkable thing about last night's game and tonight's game. Red Sox winning last night. 4 errors contributing to 6 runs. 4 errors tonight contributing to no runs. But how often can you taunt this Cardinal offense and tease and expect them not to deliver?
278 team average during the regular season. That was the best in the National League, and they were the top run-producing team in the NL. So another 4-error night for the Red Sox, and the tying run is up. Reggie Sanders hits one to third, and Miller scrambles to the bag to end the inning. Schilling pitches around 2 errors in the 6th, and the Cardinals have left 5. Curt Schilling, after getting through the top of the 6th inning, getting around a couple more errors. Having a conversation with Terry Francona, and you wonder if Schilling is going to go any deeper into this game. Bottom of the 6th inning, Cal Eldred back to work. And the first pitch is strike to Trot Nixon. One ball, one strike.
I would think that Curt Schilling is through. Terry Francona wanted to take him out after 5 innings at Yankee Stadium. Curt talked him into going 7.
Nixon is on with a leadoff base hit up the middle.
But right now there is no action in the Boston bullpen. So perhaps Schilling will go back out there.
They did have Embry up in the top of this 6th. And we will keep one eye out on that bullpen to see if any action starts, which would tell you that Schilling is finished for the night. One on, nobody out. Here's Bill Miller, 2 for 2. If Schilling is finished, we'll say at least to this point he's gone 6 innings, allowed 1 run. It was unearned. 4 hits, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts. There were a total of 4 errors behind him. This one is driven into right. Walker. 1 on, 1 out. And Embry is taking his jacket off out in the bullpen as Ray King continues to loosen for St. Louis in their pen. And Embry will go back to work. Bellhorn has one of the biggest swings of the night. The Red Sox have had 2 big ones, and all 4 of their runs have scored with 2 out. A triple to score 2 by Varitek in the 1st, and a double for 2 RBIs by Bellhorn in the 4th. Four to 1, bottom to 6th. A strike to Bellhorn.
It would be a good time, the 7th inning, to bring in a left-hander, because 2 of the first 3 hitters the Cardinals have up, Womack and Marlon Anderson, are both left-handed. Or maybe Tony La Russa will make a move, particularly for Marlon Anderson. That's the cat and mouse game that both managers try to play with one another.
Two balls and a strike on Bellhorn. Marked 3 out of 5 in this series to this point. Last night 2 hits, the home run in the 8th, and tonight the 2-run double, and he's bounced into a double play. Three and 1 with Damon on deck. And should Bellhorn reach with Ray King ready to go out of the bullpen, may see a pitching change from St. Louis. Bellhorn pops it up. The shortstop, Edgar Renteria, had to adjust because of the wind. 2 out. Our Bank of America higher standard performance is Curt Schilling. And he is setting new standards pitching with that displaced tendon in his right ankle. And now with Schilling sitting in the dugout with 4 strikeouts, 6 innings under his belt. With only 1 on and 2 out, Damon takes a strike as Eldred remains in the game. So a big out by Eldred to get Bellhorn on the pop-up. The opposite way for a base hit. First hit tonight for Johnny Damon. He's 1 for 4. And it's 2 on, 2 out. Cabrera coming up.
Good job of hitting by Johnny Damon. That pitch right where Cal Eldred wanted it. And that hit is right where Johnny Damon wanted it.
So now Orlando Cabrera, who has his 8-game hitting streak in this postseason, on the line. 0 for 2 with a walk. Two on, 2 out. Ball 1 with Manny Ramirez on deck. Womack, Matheny, and Anderson, the scheduled hitters at the top of the 7th. One ball, 1 strike. In for strike 2.
Notice how Mike Matheny holds the glove there to get Dale Scott a good look at that strike. Terry Francona thought it was high, but the Cardinals get the call.
2 on, 2 out. And Cabrera stays up there with a count 1 and 2. Embry continues to get loose. See a shot of Schilling talking in the dugout. There's even more evidence to suggest that he's finished for the night. We heard from Terry Francona earlier, the day that Curt Schilling is pitching, nobody talks to him. In this case, because of the circumstances, the only guys that have been to this point, medical staff. But that has changed after getting through the first 6. Another 1-2 pitch. 2-2.
Breaking ball misses from Eldred. Picture perfect block from Mike Matheny.
Cabrera stopped it first on that ball, hit off the wall. All 6 of the Boston Red Sox runs have scored with 2 out. Cabrera continues his hitting streak. It's up to 9 games. And it's Manny Ramirez at the plate. Cabrera got a great jump and stop. And the count evens at a ball and a strike.
Yeah, obviously, like to correct myself, it was a single off the wall. Watching Johnny Damon score easily. Cabrera could have been on at second base. The ball off the cutoff man, Edgar Renteria's glove. And ended up in the middle of the infield, and Cabrera stopped it first.
2 balls and a strike on Ramirez. Manny Ramirez has hit in 14 straight postseason games. Hitless tonight. A 5-run Red Sox lead in the 6th. And Ramirez flies it into center. Long run for Edmonds. Can't get there. And it's first and third, 2 out. The wind knocking that ball down in center field, and that will continue the hitting streak for Manny Ramirez, and that will end the night for Cal Eldred. See how deep Edmonds was at the start of the play. Couldn't get there in time, and now with first and third, 2 out, Ortiz coming up. King is coming in for St. Louis. With the hope of trying to stay to within 5 runs of the Boston Red Sox, Tony La Russa makes a pitching change, brings in the left-hander Ray King for David Ortiz. First and third, 2 out. Strike 1 from the only left-hander the Cardinals have in their pen. Cabrera with a 2-out, 2-run single. A fly ball single into center that fell in front of Edmonds off the bat of Ramirez. And an 0-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Last night, Ortiz hit a rocket on a pitch from Ray King. That's the ball that came up and caught Womack in the collarbone. Jason Marquis, who is scheduled to start Game 4 of this World Series, getting loose for the Cardinals in their bullpen. Strike 2 on Ortiz.
Ray King coming back and crowding David Ortiz with the fastball after the slider away.
First and third, 2 out, and Ortiz reaches for it and stays alive.
Cardinals are on a strange run where the home team has won the last 8 games. All 7 of the LCS. First time that's ever happened.
Ortiz strikes out, and the inning comes to a close. We go into inning number 7. Getting late for the Cardinals. Down by 5 now. Pokey Reese is into the game. 6-1 Boston. Top of the 7th inning. Reese trying to improve this defense for the Red Sox. Alan Embry is on the mound. He worked last night. Didn't retire a batter. Gave up a hit and a run. Last night the Red Sox committed 4 errors. Tonight 4 more errors. Prior to last night, the last team to commit 4 errors in a World Series game, the Milwaukee Brewers, in Game 6 of the 1982 World Series. The Brewers lost to the Cardinals that game 13-1. And the Red Sox won last night despite the 4 errors, and tonight they lead by 5 as we play here in the 7th inning. Tony Womack first up. Took a strike and now swings at another. It is a unique and very interesting group, to say the least. Terry Francona runs out of that Boston Red Sox dugout.
And out of that bullpen. And Terry Francona has used that bullpen masterfully during this postseason.
Ball 1 to Womack.
We talked about it last night. I think that the reason the Red Sox are here, that bullpen, David Ortiz and the bullpen.
The Red Sox just got the best of all worlds in the bottom of the 6th. They were going to take Schilling out, and they added 2 more runs to their lead to make it a 5-run lead now in the 7th. Womack hits it foul. Started to talk about it earlier, and you and I have talked about it off the air. If there was ever a team that was going to defy the odds, buck the trends, and come back from a 3-games-to-none hole against the Yankees and now try to give the Red Sox their first World Series victory since 1918, it would figure that it would be this type group for Boston. I mean, they are a scrappy bunch. They're guys that don't seem to really care what's said about them. They play for one another, and as Terry Francona has said time and time again, these guys may make mistakes. They may throw to the wrong base from time to time. They may run into outs, but they love to play baseball. The 1-2 pitch. Womack strikes out. This is a very unique bunch. That's their nickname after Cowboy Up. It was said over and over again last October. Damon and Millar, they said, we're just a bunch of idiots. We just go out and play baseball, and they have made Terry Francona a very happy man. 1 ball, no strikes. Matheny takes strike 1.
Gordon Eads, who writes for the Boston Globe, had a great closing line to an article yesterday. As you look at John Henry, the owner of the Red Sox, Gordon said, if these guys are idiots, never has ignorance created such bliss.
Here's a 1-1. Matheny takes inside. 2 balls and a strike from Embry.
Blissful indeed as the Red Sox try to win their first World Championship since 1918.
Saw John Henry. He's the owner of the Red Sox, a guy who grew up on a farm in Arkansas as a die-hard Cardinal fan. As the count goes to 3-1 on Matheny. After purchasing the Florida Marlins, he invited Stan Musial to come down and throw out the ceremonial first pitch on opening day. Listen to the Cardinal games night after night as a kid growing up. His ambition in life at one point was to get a job in St. Louis that paid him enough money to allow him to afford season tickets to Cardinals games. Now he owns the Boston Red Sox. With 1 out here in the 7th, Matheny stays up there and the count stays full. However, even with all that love for the St. Louis Cardinals as a young man, now owning the Boston Red Sox, he was asked, I believe it was by Gordon Eads, the piece that was in there today would be your perfect World Series scenario. He said a 4-game sweep, trying to bring a World Series championship to Boston. 3-2 pitch, 2 out. Speaking of season ticket holders, let's check in again with Chris Myers.
Joe, I'm in the bleacher seats with 79-year young Annie Quinn, who's a 40-year season ticket holder. Did you ever think you'd see the Red Sox be this close to a World Series title?
They've been close before. Only 1 pitch away in '86. Okay. 1 strike away. We should have had it.
You've seen a lot over the years. Your husband used to come to the games with you?
Yes, he came up until about 2 years before he really took sick. And he died on the 30th of June last year.
Well, he'd love to see this ball club, I'm sure. How would you describe this group?
I said it was going to be even better than last year because the defense really has been better, except for these games that they've had the errors.
Right.
But most of the time, they've made all the plays behind the pitcher. And as long as they have the plays behind the pitcher does a good job.
And you score the games?
Yes.
All right. And what'd you think of Kurt Schilling? Should he have left him in a little longer?
Yes, I wouldn't mind if unless they do a lot of that, taking them out too soon. What is good happened? 6 runs in the first inning.
Yeah, well,
that's happened. Not with him so much.
They have a formula now. Some Red Sox fans have told me, Miss Quinn, that beating the Yankees was it. No matter what happens after this, your life's complete.
I want to win it all. I want to win it all.
All right, I hear you on that. Thanks very much for being a great baseball fan.
It was just at first I didn't even want the Yankees in it, but now it's even more pleasurable coming from 3 down to come back and beat them.
Okay. All right. Will you stay warm, all right?
I sure will.
Thanks a lot. Joe, Tim?
All right, Chris. Feeling threatened at all, Tim?
Annie, a fierce competitor.
She knows her stuff.
Does she ever?
That was great. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 out, nobody on. Taguchi pinch hitting for Marlon Anderson. Embry trying to strike out the side. The Red Sox are trying to go up 2-0 on the Cardinals. As we look at this foul tip again that came up and caught the home plate umpire Dale Scott. The Cardinals can't wait to get this World Series back home, where this postseason they have been devastating. Ask the Dodgers, ask the Astros, who took a 3-2 series advantage in the NLCS to Busch Stadium, only to lose 2 straight. Struck out the side. Annie will mark down a backward K. And we will stay here and give you Donna Summer with God Bless America.
To honor and recognize the sacrifices made by all of our servicemen and women currently stationed across the globe, we welcome the 5-time Grammy Award winner who will present God Bless America, Boston's own Donna Summer.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountain to the prairies, through the ocean, white with bold. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet
The World Series on Fox brought to you by New Lasta. Ask your doctor how you can be ready with New Lasta. By Warner Brothers new motion picture Alexander. In theaters everywhere Wednesday, November 24th. And by Nissan and your Nissan dealer. Fourth pitcher on the night takes over for the Cardinals. And it's the right-hander, Jason Marquis. He will start game 4 for St. Louis, and I like this move by Tony La Russa. Marquis has been ineffective to this point in the postseason, but there was a very good sinker ball. He will be working with a ton of rest when his turn comes up in Game 4. This may take a little bit of the edge off for Marquis. It introduces him to World Series baseball. It might take a little bit of that higher octane, which works against the sinker. Off the deliveries from Marquis as he hits the outside corner. And now Varitek is in the hole. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Actually, Jason being reintroduced to the World Series. He was in last night's game as a pinch runner and stumbled around second base.
That is hammered into center field. Back is Edmonds at the wall to make the catch over the shoulder. What a catch by Edmonds to start the bottom of the 7th inning.
Nobody makes this catch like Jim Edmonds. He has coined this catch. Against the wall, over the shoulder. Center fielders in baseball marvel at the Marvel. He's Captain Marvel.
6-time Gold Glove Award winner out in center. He combines not only great range, he loves to play shallow, can go back on the ball better than any center fielder out there. Torrey Hunter obviously outstanding for the Twins as well. Edmonds starts a little closer toward the plate. Goes back and gets him and has a tremendous throwing arm.
I think Torrey is forced to play a little deeper because he plays in the Metrodome for the Minnesota Twins. And balls that scoot by you on the artificial surface, but Jim Edmonds playing shallow in St. Louis and shallow here at Fenway to make a fine catch.
3-0. So Marquis pitching for the first time in World Series play. A break. That's low for a 1-out walk. Anytime you see a center fielder go back and make a catch over his shoulder, you think about the 1954 World Series. Big Wirtz. Back in '54, that was the voice of Jack Brickhouse, and in this case tonight, Varitek hitting it out to Edmonds in one of the deeper parts of the park for out number 1. That was followed by the walk, and Minkiewicz will come off the bench, run for Millar, and then take over at first base. 1 on, 1 out. Trot Nixon at the plate. Ball 1. Nixon 1 for 3 tonight, only his 9th hit this postseason. And Timlin gets loose. One aspect to this World Series, which if this series should last more than 4 or 5 games and get back here to Boston next weekend, you wonder how much over the next 2 or 3 games Terry Francona will have to go back to Embry and Timlin trying to get to full. There are really 3 guys that Terry Francona trusts out of that bullpen for the Boston Red Sox. Tony La Russa has a bullpen filled with guys that he is willing to bring into a ball game. But it's that trio, Embry, Timlin, and Folk, that got the Red Sox into the postseason and got them through the ALCS against the Yankees. 2 out here in the 7th. It is coming up on 11 o'clock in the East, and we give you the John Hancock game summary. Bottom of the 7th inning, 6-1. Matt Morris left after 4 1/3, pitching on short rest tonight. Curt Schilling, 7 innings in Game 6 of the ALCS, 4 hits. Tonight, 6 innings, 4 hits, no earned runs. And all of the run scoring tonight for the Red Sox, and the one for the Cardinals for that matter, scoring with 2 out. Miller has 2 hits tonight, a rough night in the field, committing 3 errors. Single, a double, a run scored, and he's flying to right. And at the knees, 1 ball, 1 strike.
In the opening before last night's game, we talked about the confidence that the Red Sox have now. And you can just imagine, as a team, coming back against the Yankees, winning 4 in a row, and the last 2 nights committing 8 errors, winning 1 game, and well ahead in this one. They are playing with a world of confidence, almost overcoming anything in their minds.
But what will happen when this series goes to St. Louis? It'll be game 3 on Tuesday night. And the Cardinals so far are undefeated at home this postseason. And the numbers are so lopsided with what they have done at home and on the road. It will be a confident Cardinals bunch even if they are down 2-0 because of these numbers. 6-0 record at home, only 1 road victory during the postseason this year. Look at the team average, the difference at home and on the road. Over 100 points better at home. The runs per game just about double, and the home runs that they have hit over twice as many. The 2-2 pitch. That ball is foul. Still 2-2 on Miller. On deck is Pokey Reese, who hasn't hit tonight. He's taking over for Bellhorn defensively at the top of this inning. Cardinals will have the top of their order, the top of the 8th. Marquis is trying to keep it a 5-run game. Full count.
Jason coming to the Cardinals along with left-hander Ray King for J.D. Drew and Eli Marrero. J.D. Drew having a terrific year for Bobby Cox's Atlanta Braves.
Marquis a very good regular season, trying to find it here in the postseason as he has walked 2 in his first inning of work. And with 2 on, 2 out, here comes Pokey Reese. Reese digs his way in, only 1 at bat this postseason. Up at the top of your screen, your reminder for game 3 of this World Series. 8 Eastern, 7 Central. The Red Sox in St. Louis. Pedro Martinez against Jeff Suppan. Suppan has had the best postseason among all the Cardinal starters in 2004. Was the starter and winner, matched up against Roger Clemens in game 7 of the NLCS.
And he won the division series against the Dodgers in Los Angeles.
Reese, 1 ball, 1 strike. Think how this inning started with a ball hit by Varitek, caught by Edmonds over the shoulder for out number 1, then a walk. Nixon fly to center, a walk to Miller, and 2 strikes now on Pokey Reese. A father and son taking in World Series baseball here at Fenway Park. Ball 2 on Reese with Johnny Damon on deck. Al Reyes, the right-hander, getting loose. Active in this World Series. Left off the roster the first 2 rounds. Still 2-2 on Reese. You can get the new MLB Authentic Collection Premier Jacket and wear what the players wear. The MLB Authentic Collection available on MLB.com or 888 MLB shop. Close, make the fan. Two on, two out, 2-2 pitch is popped up. Pujols waits for it. Due up third in the top of the 8th. Top of the order for the Cardinals, down by 5. Third pitcher of the night for the Red Sox, Mike Timlin, and so far, Tim, the pitching for the Red Sox taking on the very good 4 spots in this Cardinal lineup. They let Walker get hot last night, but nobody else. Tonight, Pujols has a pair of doubles, but the other 3 have been shut down. That's a pretty good formula if you want to beat St. Louis.
Well, that's the one thing that a dominant starter can do. A dominant guy like Curt Schilling coming in and just shutting the door on these great Cardinal hitters. Albert Pujols has gotten to him for a couple of doubles, or got to him for a couple of doubles. And since then, Embry for 1, and now Timlin.
Doug Minkiewicz stays in to play first, and Timlin here in the 8th inning will deal with the top of the lineup. Any hint of trouble, Terry Francona has proven he is not afraid to bring Keith Folk in for more than 3 outs as the strike is into Renteria. Edgar 0 for 3 tonight, bounced to short 3 times, once for a double play.
Let's go Red Sox!
That misses, 2-1.
Think about the postseason for the Red Sox. They beat the Anaheim Angels 3 in a row to win the division series. Then they lost the first 3 to the New York Yankees. And now they're on the verge, if they can hold the lead here, of winning 6 in a row. 4 against the Yankees and 2 against the Cardinals.
3 balls and a strike on Renteria. It's been a good week around here.
I'll say.
A leadoff walk. See if that gets something started for St. Louis. Timlin pitched in last night's game, won an inning and a third, allowed 1 run on 1 hit. And now Larry Walker steps in with Albert Pujols on deck. Those were 2 huge runs scored in the bottom of the 6th inning, driven in on a 2-out, 2-run single off the Green Monster by Orlando Cabrera. That was when the Red Sox were making the transition from the starter Schilling to their bullpen. A strike to Walker. Again, Schilling, who threw 94 pitches, 6 innings, 1 run, no earned runs, 4 hits, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts, and pitched around 4 errors. High hopper off the bat of Walker. 1 on, 1 out. The put out 1-3 is a throw by Timlin, got Walker by a step. And here's Pujols. 2 for 3 with the 2 doubles and the only run scored tonight for St. Louis. After Pujols, it's Rolen. After Rolen, it's Edmonds. After the leadoff walk, Larry Walker retired, and Pujols hits it left side for a base hit. Past the diving Bill Miller, 1st and 3rd, 1 out. Pujols 3 out of 4 tonight.
Renteria had to hold up with the Cardinals trailing by 5, thinking that maybe Bill Miller would have a shot at this ball just out of Bill's reach. Now the Cardinals have them on. If they can get a big hit from a guy like Rolen, that closes the gap. As you see, Renteria delaying and then going to 3rd after the ball goes through.
They start to stir in the bullpen for the Red Sox. Nobody getting loose yet.
They meaning he.
Yeah. And he is full. And he is going to start loosening up right now. Here's Rolen. There's ball one from Timlin. Timlin, and again, this is the point about this World Series and getting a lot of work. Timlin was busy all year out of the bullpen, a lot of work. Same for Embry and for Fulk closing games. Roland takes low. It's 2-0. Timlin was in 76 games this year during the regular season for Terry Francona, and that's a career high for the 38-year-old right-hander. Been all over the postseason as Roland backs out of there with a count 2-0. Chance for the Cardinals to jump back in it. Roland had an opportunity last night to put the Cardinals on top as he takes a strike in the 8th inning last night. Well, after the Cardinals tied it thanks to 2 Manny Ramirez errors in left. The intentional pass to Pujols. The bases were loaded for Roland, and he popped up. It stayed 9-9, and the Red Sox won it on the Bellhorn home run, 11-9. 2-2 on Roland. Renteria and Pujols aboard, and this crowd comes alive. Still 2-2. Raw night at Fenway Park.
A raw 2 nights for the Cardinals here at Fenway. They have not had the lead in these 2 games against the Red Sox.
Trailing by 5 here in the 8th, 2 on, 1 out. And desperately needing a hit from Scott Rolen. Cardinals in their World Series history, largest deficit overcome to win 3 runs. Down by 5 and a 3-2 pitch. Instead, Timlin steps to third and looks to first. Last time the Cardinals overcame that 3-run deficit, 1982, the last time the Cardinals won the World Series over Milwaukee. Pujols is running, and Rolen fouls it.
Tony La Russa's confidence in Scott Rolen putting the ball in play against the sinker baller, sending Albert Pujols. Normally when you trail by 5, even with the count 3-2, you'd be more passive on the bases here.
Pujols running, and Rolen hits it in the air to center. Damon is back, having to come in. Tagging at third is Renteria. He'll come in to score, but the Red Sox want the out. 2 out here in the 8th inning in a 6-2 game. Sac fly by Rolen. That's his first World Series RBI, but not what he wished for.
No, Rolen will go into the dugout and he'll get handshakes when actually the Red Sox accomplished what they wanted to do. They got the out. Rolen gets a handshake, and what the Cardinals needed was a hit from Rolen, not a sac fly.
So now with Edmonds coming up, Varitek comes out to talk, and you wonder if the Red Sox are buying time to allow Fulk a enough of an opportunity to get loose, and that is the case as Francona is coming out. So with Edmonds coming up and an opportunity with one swing to make it a 2-run game, Terry Francona makes his way to the mound. And we expect the pitching change, and here it comes. Folk coming in. What a job he's done this postseason for the Red Sox. Another chance. We're in the 8th inning of Game 2. This February, Fox takes center stage for 2 of sports' biggest events with the Great American Race, the Daytona 500. The NFL crowns a new champion at Super Bowl 39. Sports' greatest moments continue to unfold this February only on Fox. And Keith Folk, 2 out of 3 in save chances, but that does not tell the story of what he's done for Terry Francona out of the bullpen. And in his last 12 outings since the 25th of September, Folk's ERA is 0. 4 out of 5 in save chances, an opponent sitting only 132 against him. Edmonds last night struck out against Folk, called out looking on strikes with the bases loaded, and the game tied in the 8th. Timlin, 2/3 of an inning, 1 run, 1 hit, 1 walk, no strikeouts. Pujols takes second as Edmonds flies one foul and out of play into left. It's 1-2.
Red Sox giving Albert Pujols second base as Mankiewicz was playing behind him. And Pujols tried to take advantage of that, but Edmonds fouled it away.
Not insignificant with 2 out in the 8th if he can get into scoring position, and Edmonds could come up with a hit.
Yep.
They hold him closer now as Edmonds takes a pitch up and away. 9th inning, a different situation, but with Pujols at first, Mankiewicz. And last pitch, high, stayed between Pujols and the bag. Edmonds hitless on the night. And continues as Folk continues his masterful work this postseason. Bottom of the 8th inning, Red Sox bat. It's 6-2. The World Series on Fox brought to you by Dodge. You can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horns. Dodge. By John Hancock, official sponsor of Major League Baseball. And by America Online. Want a better internet? You belong at America Online. While they play a little Neil Diamond here at Fenway Park, I think back to the national anthem and the job done by James Taylor tonight. What a beautiful rendition of the Star Spangled Banner, done in a unique way. And I understand that James Taylor practiced that 5 times today at Fenway Park to get it right, and it was worth all the preparation. 1 pitch, 1 out as Al Reyes takes over here in the 8th inning. Marquee 1 shutout inning with 2 walks, and Damon rounds out to short.
Also a neat rendition of God Bless America by Donna Summer.
And these fans have been entertained before, during, and then they entertain themselves after games here in Boston. First pitch is a strike on the outside corner. Reyes is a guy that was added to the World Series roster for Tony La Russa. He takes the place, in essence, of Steve Klein. A big loss not having Klein available. Klein in 67 games, a left-hander, had a 1.79 ERA out of the bullpen. A real weapon that was lost because of the tendon injury, the index finger in his pitching hand. That's low, 2 balls and a strike. Al Reyes is the guy who hit Nomar Garciaparra with a pitch on the wrist back in the year 2000 right here at Fenway Park, a game that we did. Little did we know at the time how serious that injury was. As the pitch is low, 3 balls and a strike.
It will be very interesting to see where Nomar Garciaparra ends up for the 2005 season. Traded to Chicago to the Cubs. Part of a 4-team swap that brought Orlando Cabrera from Montreal to Boston.
He may have to, in essence, prove that he can get through a season healthy before he cashes in on another big deal.
I agree.
As Cabrera pops it up. Matheny fights the wind and the rain. Juggles it, makes the catch, 2 out. And the batter will be Manny Ramirez. Nomar Garciaparra did not bring the Cubs the lift they thought he would when they got him at the trading deadline. The Achilles tendon problem was still there. And they speculated in the paper today, the Boston Globe, that it may be a 1-year deal in LA or back with Chicago for Garciaparra, so he can prove himself again as Manny Ramirez steps in with the bases empty, 2 out. Ramirez floated a hit to center his last time up, takes the ball.
Chicago Cubs a game and a half ahead in the wild card standings with 9 games left to play. They went 2-7 in their last 9 games in that day at Shea Stadium.
2 teams cost them the wild card, Tim, and you were there.
Yep.
Not only at Shea Stadium, but at Wrigley at the end of the year, as Ramirez has the count even 1-1.
New York Mets and the Cincinnati Reds.
Of all the teams.
Yeah. Then the Atlanta Braves came in and won 2 out of 3. The last weekend of the season, eliminating the Cubs.
1 ball, 1 strike. Reyes trying to turn in a perfect inning, deals and misses up and in. Reyes got to Memphis a month into the season and ended up leading the Pacific Coast League. That's right, Memphis is in the Pacific Coast League. He led the league in saves. Here's a 2-1. 3 balls and a strike. You grew up in Memphis, spent a lot of time on the beaches, looking out over the Pacific Ocean.
Yep.
This guy's 2 for 2 with that outfit. Ramirez chops one to second for Womack. The Cardinals will have their final chance. Folk will go back to work. 6-2 Boston, trying to go up 2 games to none. Memories of a lifetime for fathers and sons here at Fenway Park. Fathers, sons, brothers, mothers, daughters, grandmothers. The courtship of Eddie's father. One of the great shows from my youth. Here's Reggie Sanders. First up in the 9th inning, facing Folk, taking ball 1. Sanders hitless tonight. We ask you to stay tuned tonight for the Bank of America post-game show as Sanders takes his strike, and it's 1-1. Womack will follow, then Matheny, the scheduled hitter. Sanders flips it out of play off to the right, 1-2. Gabe Kapler comes into the game to take over in left field from Manny Ramirez. Another 4-error night, but it could end up as another Boston Red Sox victory. The pitching of Curt Schilling. Embry a good inning. Timlin got 2 outs in the 8th, and Folk is again trying to finish it for the Boston fans. The 1-2 out of play. Following our telecast will be your late local news, except on the West Coast. For those watching in the Boston area, Fox 25 will have an expanded edition immediately after the game, and KTVI Channel 2 in St. Louis will also have expanded coverage for this series. Has a travel day tomorrow and then picks up with Game 3 in St. Louis on Tuesday night. Here's a 1-2. 2-2. It's amazing, no matter how much work Folk gets, he seems to come in and throw the same every time. It's 88-89 with his fastball and that keep you off balance and make you look bad changeup. That's backing out of play.
You were talking about the courtship of Eddie's father. I was thinking this night is almost taking on a different movie, almost a Jekyll and Hyde type, foggy, London, misty. And that really is one of the reasons that Folk has been so successful. His pitches are almost Jekyll and Hyde. Like personalities, they're so different. Straight changeup and the fastball. The difference in speed, about 8 miles an hour. But it's all in the arm motion.
There are only really 2 closers in the game today, he's active, that I can think of that really feature that changeup as their out pitch, and the other one's Trevor Hoffman.
Trevor Hoffman with San Diego, right? Trevor throwing a bit harder than Folk. But again, it's all in the arm motion. If you can throw your changeup like your fastball and make the hitters give just a little, you got them.
Sanders in a good battle here, trying to get it started. Cardinals down by 4 in the 9th. Patriots won their 21st in a row earlier this afternoon. Red Sox trying to win their 6th in a row. 4 over the Yankees and 2 over St. Louis. Still a full count. In case you were wondering, the Red Sox in World Series play, taken a 2-0 series lead twice in 9 appearances.
They did it the last time they were in the World Series back in 1986, beating the Mets
on the road. Sanders went 1 out. Folk has faced 2 and struck out 2. And the Polar Express plays of the game are the 3 big swings. 2 out, 2-run hits. The triple by Varitek in the 1st. The double by Bellhorn in the 4th. That scored 2. And the 2-out, 2-run single by Cabrera in the 6th. That made it 6-1. It's now 6-2. Womack takes ball 1. Womack lines 1 to right. Nixon 2 out. And the Red Sox are on their way to a 2-0 lead, with Mike Matheny stepping to the plate. Boston leading 6-2 in the 9th. Pedro Martinez and Jeff Suppan in Game 3 on Tuesday night as Matheny takes the ball high. From the players on down, as you look at our final score. 6-2 Boston. Folk finished. Does not get the save. Wasn't a save opportunity. But in the end, it's Curt Schilling going 6 tonight. 1 run, 4 hits, no earned runs, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts. And so you know, 48 teams have taken a 2-games-to-none series lead. 77% of the time, that team that's up 2-games-to-0 has gone on to win the series. We welcome you to the Bank of America postgame show. And with the mist continuing to fall at Fenway Park, they celebrate a 6-2 win. And while we sit up here in the booth, we will go down to Kevin Kennedy.
Jason Varitek, you know, it's the first triple in the World Series since 1996. First of all, take us through that, what the feeling was like getting you guys on the board early.
You know, I was just trying to have a quality at bat, make sure I wasn't over anxious, and I saw the ball well, and I was able to get a changeup in the middle of the plate, and I was able to get a good part of the bat on it.
And when I say triple, obviously I mean for a catcher. You and I being catchers, we're running all that well, but you were flying tonight. Take us through Curt Schilling, what you guys talk about the game plan. Obviously, game 6 in New York, he was phenomenal. He repeated that again tonight.
Well, we made some adjustments while we were out there that we didn't really talk about. And, you know, it's about executing pitching. That's what pitching's about, and he did that.
I know that he prepares extremely well for the opposition, but how do you prepare for him? I mean, when do you know that he's going to come out? Does he say something to Terry Francona? Does he talk to you between innings?
Well, I mean, he was battling out there. You could see that he was battling with his ankle, and we did a right job of getting him out of that game.
All right, what's up next? The feeling, have you ever seen the crowd like this? You played here a long time, but can you feel it, what these guys are feeling? They're 2 games away from something that hasn't happened since 1918.
Well, you know, we just need to concentrate on what got us here, and that's focusing pitch to pitch and try and outplay that team over there.
Jason, good luck in St. Louis. Thanks a lot. Okay, Joe, let's go back upstairs to you.
All right, Kevin, thank you very much. And let's go to the other side and check in with Chris Myers.
Joe, just outside the clubhouse, Curt Schilling waited for his teammates to come off the field. Congratulations to your team. Had another courageous performance from you. How do you feel?
Like I've been beat up a little bit. Yeah. I'm a little sore, but it don't matter right now.
Tougher than the first time out?
There's a lot of obstacles to overcome. I will never use the words unbelievable in the Lord again in my life, though. I can promise you that.
It looked like there was a misstep just before you came out. Did you injure something there? Hurt yourself?
Well, about the 3rd inning, I think I tweaked my hip flexor a little bit. So just kind of piling on things right there at that point. But it was stiffening up, and the weather didn't help, and we had some long innings, which did help. It didn't help. So, but we got through it.
If this goes further, will you be able to pitch again?
I'm not even thinking about that right now. I'm not even thinking about it.
Are you thinking going back to St. Louis, wrapping this up?
You know what? Hopefully I won't have to pitch again, but I guarantee you that team believes in themselves as much as we believe in ourselves.
Can you just comment on this entire team and the kind of series that this has been so far, coming off of the drama of the Yankee series?
Well, you know what? This is a team. This is a true team. It's every guy is in this for each other. I mean, I care so much about my teammates that I'll do anything I can to be a part of this and to contribute, and I think every one of us feels that way.
I hope you feel better. Thanks again.
Yes, thank you.
Appreciate that. Curt Schilling. Let's go back up to Joe Buck.
All right, and our thanks to Curt Schilling for coming out and talking. Chris and Kevin with the interviews. Varitek got the scoring started with the 2-out, 2-run triple. All the RBIs and the run scoring tonight for Boston with 2 out. They have won 6 straight in the postseason. They are up 2-0 as the series travels tomorrow and opens up in St. Louis. Game 3 on Tuesday night. Pedro Martinez and Jeff Suppan. Jeannie Zalasko on the other side of the break as we continue from Fenway after this.